So the last topic is how Elon Musk has successfully implanted the first Neuralink in a human being. So Brian, because we had to do an emergency audible and throw my phone up as your camera, I can't read the tweet. So I'm going to need you to go to the presentation mode and pull up the Elon. It's called Elon Musk tweet. Okay. And if you could read the tweet to us, please, to kick off the segment. This is what happens when you do a live show, everyone.
What that you said downloads?
You should be able to go through presentations on the desktop as Elon Musk. It's literally
I got to open it up before I do that.
By the ease.
Well, Alex, while we're at least waiting, I gotta say I appreciate you letting me get my points in on that Texas one, because I was the person texting you about the Texas thing weeks ago when this all started.
So, Brian,
the first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday, and is recovering well. Initial results show promising neuron spike detected. Did I read that right?
Sure. So they have implanted the first Neuralink into a human being. And unfortunately for David, it put me with Ricky. He can at least assist me in this. So Ricky, they have officially implanted the first Neuralink in a human being. What are your thoughts? No need to show that again.
Listen, it's great for development in society. For people who needs it, is good if it works. You want to be a lab rat? Be a lab rat. You know what I mean? For the greater future, when it's better, I feel like good. You know, people can like paralysis and stuff like that. I hear like it helps them. So where it's needed, put it. Don't enforce it on everyone. I don't want it to be a vaccine shot. You know what I mean?
That just opened up.
Oh, man.
David, what are your thoughts?
I'm surprised the feed didn't get cut right there. So, so this comes down to, oh boy, we're on the virgining, like
are we?
The cusp of cybernetics.
40 of them, to be honest.
So this is kind of like the Adderall debate and why it's a prescribed medicine. So in order to keep up in society, you should be able to have it, but if everyone has it, then essentially that's now the standard. Then this becomes the haves and haves not. So if you have, so let's say let's go super duper cyberpunk into this whole deal. Well, now I can run faster. My heart beats longer with all these implants. This is where I see government regulation probably really, really kind of setting the standard for what needs to happen here. Because if this was, have you ever seen Repo Man?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was my first thought.
Actually, coming into tonight, knowing you were talking about that, is I thought, what happens when you can't pay for whatever they implanted in you?
Yeah. So then you have corporate, as much as I don't like the government coming in and, messing up, scrambling my business, I really don't want corporations coming in and also scrambling my business. I hate that even more. Now, I didn't elect you.
I'm not eggs. Don't be up here scrambling.
Yeah. Don't come in here. So this is, oh boy, I don't know if I want to call this a slippery slope, because this could be great for humanity.
It's the beginning of the end.
Depending on how you want to see it, it's the next evolution of humanity. So some of the elites, if you want to look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, this, don't get me started on that. But that's when we start going to the next level. So are we all one? Are we all one person and we all think the same? Well, who gets to choose how we think? Where's the democracy in that? Are we all just Twitter and going through X, Y, and Z and just?
We're not Twitter anymore, David. We are X.
So for X, so let's call X the Neuralink. Is that now society? Would you say society's gotten worse since Twitter's been really active? Some would argue yes, some would argue no. I don't know. There's some good news aspects that came out of Twitter. There's some real just bad cultural takes that come out of Twitter. we're all linked together in this Neuralink, that's exactly what it's going to be.
Yes. And I think having diversity of thought will be no more. But even more so, like, here's what's interesting. That position you pose on balance with something that Joe Rogan kind of takes a position on more often than not. He believes all of these human flaws and conflicts will fall by the wayside the second we have like everybody standardized with a Neuralink of some type, because he's of the belief the second we can read minds and people can no longer lie, aka use like language and manipulative tactics to hide the truth, and I can just read your thoughts for what they are, it brings a sense of purity. I think there's hope that, like, Neuralink would be so purist that ability would be available, but that's if the technology decides to allow it.
Yeah.
Same technology could give you the ability for us to talk without actually talking, a message to each other through memes in our head. But at the same time, it could choose to not allow us to have pure reading thought ability.
Just like social media at the beginning. Social media was essentially a wild, wild west. There was no regulation, little moderation outside of, frankly, just illegal things going on. And now we're starting to see a situation where certain thought is policed a little bit more than other thoughts, right or wrong, however you want to spill it. There is a moderation that isn't just free thought of ideas. There isn't. It's not the path the way however we want to go. It's regulated in one way or another. And if we're here with the Neuralink situation, we're assuming it's just going to be like that. It'll be just free form of ideas. We're going to come in and out as we please, since we're all the collective. But I think as we've seen, as we come as collectives, there is someone that needs to police, or there's a desire to police what everyone else is thinking, so that we do flow in the way that the authority wants us to flow.
Man, that's putting a lot of faith in the people that are policing that, right?
Exactly.
Dougie.
Well, so I didn't really have much of a thought about the Neuralink before coming, but you're talking about it being able to read thoughts and being connected, as David kind of said there, and everything. And all I can kind of think of is a Black Mirror episode and a Orville Seth MacFarlane episode, where like you can upvote or downvote people and their status in
That's
society.
The social credit score.
Yeah. Yes. And like I wouldn't have thought about it in connection to the Neuralink until you mentioned of it being able to read people's thought and everyone being kind of connected and being the same. Where does that start from? Then everyone thinks you're this, and then all of a sudden in society you become this because everyone is connected in some way.
I like that.
I wouldn't have thought about it in this way, to be honest, until the way, Alex, you kind of talked about the way that would connect people and Elon Musk's view. I would have never connected the two there, because Neuralink's point is to kind of like help people connect their body to but like there is that whole other part of what happens if we take it to that extreme.
Right. Well, no, it gets to David's point of like, okay, a kid with ADD needs Adderall, but what happens when somebody that doesn't have ADD takes Adderall? Then they become superhuman, and now that becomes the standard. I like Doug's point because it also raises something that Jordan Peterson touches on a lot, which is pre-censorship. He takes on this position that this over-censorship for too long to susceptible people creates this symptom where there's not only censorship, but that censorship leads to pre-censorship. So I can't say the vaccine doesn't work. Okay, I can't say that. So because of that, now out of fear of the repercussions of saying something you're not allowed to say, something that's censored, you're trained not even to have the thought like, oh, I'm not even going to think that a dude with a cock in a dress is a woman. I'm not even going to think that he's a man. I'm not allowed to even think if he says he's a woman, he's a woman. So like pre-censorship is now even trying to censor the thought before it even comes out of your mouth. That's the scary place to be. So,
and that's like the thing is like when the society where you're voted on or whatever, or judged, you have to pre-think what you're gonna say.
right. So again, if they want to censor a thought, like you're not even allowed to think that the 3-letter agency could have any, negligent, position or I don't know, effect.
Yeah, or you can't even be critical of the company that's providing you the Neuralink. Let's just even go that way. Like what we saw with the eBay people who wrote against eBay and criticized them. The executives were sending them dead animals in the mail.
No, your meta brain is not allowed to have any thought negative of Zucky Boy.
Yeah, it's got to be company line. Go that. They might not even care if you. I don't like the government too much, but Meta, whatever company would do, the Neuralink company.
Well, and you just mentioned what happens if someone has like security access. What happens if someone with a Neuralink has access to top secret information that is kind of connected to something or someone? Like, there's a whole thing with this whole Neuralink and being connected or something. Like, someone sees something and that gets transmitted to whatever thing,
Yeah. The scary part is they're selling you initially on the fact that this is going to help a guy with Parkinson's walk or talk. You're like, all right, cool.
That's fine.
But then at some point, like you said, it gives a competitive edge that then people will, the haves and the have-nots. For those that don't, either you have some like, oh, I don't want that intrusion in my body. I could financially afford it. I just don't want it. Or the people that literally can't afford it, even if they did want it, there's going to be this cultural divide that separates them and makes this superior-inferior relationship. Brian's got comments he wants to flood on us.
Before I bring Ricky in, Nolette Cruz.
Hey, Nolette! Hey, Ricky, tell her we said what's up.
Reminds me of the guy who wanted to replace people's trachea with a plastic one and then claims it works when their clients are actually dying. It was from 2011 through 2014, and you could see it on Netflix called Bad Surgeon.
Whoa.
Is that the Surgeon of Death, Brian? Do you happen to know that? Because I've seen stuff about the Surgeon of Death or something like that on Netflix.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, Ricky has.
Yeah, let's take it to our main man.
Ricky.
Black Mirror. We have to remember Black Mirror, the show where the guy, he committed a crime. They cancel him out of society. Everybody's gray, and where he could rewind and stuff like that. And also, just like, what if an EMP goes off? Are we all fried?
Yeah, that's
we all fried. Also, AI. Is this a way for AI to get in our brains? Like, just start.
Yeah, connect, but I just want to point out, if they could make a microwave bomb, that would melt your organic brain just as much as your electronic brain gets affected by an EMP, right? Like,
yeah,
like a grenade is the same as an EMP. Mine just splatters like paint versus turns off like a light switch.
Well, what happened if you had like too many Bluetooth devices and you got the Neuralink in? It's just like, well, I can't quite think as quickly. Have you ever tried that?
Wait, I don't want to get us off rail because also I don't have the science to it, but there is some science backing about the radiation or like the wavelengths that are radiated from AirPods and like Bluetooth specifically, that like is a mild microwave.
The iPhone 12
specifically. Well, everything that emits some sort of wave is
specifically
not good
Bluetooth
for your body. Think about X-rays, not good.
Yep.
CT scans, MRIs, being in an airplane. I mean, there's all sorts. Nothing. Having a phone
you have to dive
in your
down
pocket
a little deeper on that
is
one.
putting off.
That might be
stuff.
after the show.
I mean, that's a whole different thing. But I mean, everything is putting off something nowadays.
He is right.
You shouldn't even stand in front of your microwave when you're microwaving food.
Dude, I think about that all the time. Like, I'm a little chubby, hungry boy. I'm just sitting in front of the microwave like, mac and cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese, mac and cheese. And like, you ever sit back and go, how much of this cooked me?
I'm not allowed to be in there, but boy, I'm waiting for something that already is in there.
So as a kid, my mom would be like, don't stand near the microwave. And it's like, I mean, just nowadays in today's society, everything is microwaved. Everything is microwaved. And like, that's no different than an X-ray or anything else ray that isn't good for you.
You know, he's got a good point. There's something to be said about the fact that I got to be worried about an EMP strike that may never happen from Russia. At the same time, every lunch I had this week was microwaved plastic soup from Panera. And you're like, hey, I think not me literally. I'm saying just hypothetically. I'm not that stupid, but I'm just saying we as Americans on average are eating a credit card's worth of plastic a week. And that's because everything's in plastic. Even my gay cup here is plastic. Everything is plastic. So I'm just saying we're doing it. If it isn't the EMP strike that's going to take the chip out of the back of my head, it's going to be the plastic I'm eating. It's going to be the car I'm driving a little too quick, whatever. Hey, Ricky, what's up? I'm sorry.
They've been telling us this since I've been in middle school, that like phone in your pocket, the vibration wavelengths are killing your titties, you know, and that probably, you know, all these other Bluetooths and stuff probably go into low testosterone showing up on studies nowadays. You know what I mean? Maybe us as men need to go back to our like barbaric days and lower technology. I'm not one to say.
Man, what do you think of that? Getting back to our barbaric days.
Well, I think let's go back to our last episode. I think the swingers are promoting a little more high tea operations there.
All right, let's bring this train to the station and wrap our thoughts up. Before David goes, Doug, I'm going to give you a chance. What do you got for us? Wrapping thoughts on Neuralink.
I think I kind of mentioned all my thoughts. Like, okay, so I wouldn't have thought of it being something to worry about because they advertise it as something to help people with disabilities. But Alex takes it to like the more extreme of what happens then when it's used to connect or share or whatever. Or, you know, what if we're all connected to the point where you can literally say something bad about a person and everyone else kind of like believe it? Like almost what social media is doing today to an extent there. I don't know. If it's used to help people with disabilities, I think it's great.
Yeah,
but if it's gonna try to be involved with a thing that they want to implant in everyone, I have reservations. I don't want Elon Musk messing with my brain more than he already has by buying Twitter.
And yet we log into Instagram every day and let Zucky boy mess with our brain. Brian, what do you got comments wise before we wrap it up?
What's Bama Boy got to say?
I agree with Doug. And okay, so that was just my final thought. Bama Boy, he said he has a few opinions or a few comments that I'm like, all right, yeah, I can get behind this.
Lay it on us.
People thinking some crazy and them wanting to know everything that's going on inside my head, and like, you know, that's kind of like a weird thing to think about. Also, if Neuralink can get a virus, that's a pretty scary thought. And
shit, we didn't think about that either.
A
computer virus being able to affect a human is a scary thought.
Yep.
Facts.
She heard the microwaving was a myth, and I agree. There are waves that exist that do not affect the body, like radio waves and different microwaves,
airplane waves.
No, airplane is radiation from you being that high in the air.
So, but microwaves excite liquid cells. So, like,
and we are liquid.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, they excite you in like a very like you got to be.
Excite as in terms of giving energy to and warming, right?
You
the warming effect
in the space they're doing it at. That's not a
sure. And again, I have enough of an understanding of waves and frequencies to where I am confident. Go home, check out your microwave. The glass has. You ever see like
it's like perforates, not.
No. What's like the different lens types for sunglasses? You know how like the way it works is polarization. Thank you. Yeah, so the polarization in like a lens will allow either like one type of wavelength, or if it's double polarized, that means it's going both ways and it's stopping both types of waves. If you look at your microwave glass cover, it's literally like the mesh of that desk, which does the audience no good. Yeah, it's literally like a polarized, polarized.
It's not completely clear.
It creases both ways, and it should stop a horizontal and a vertical wave. Totally agree. But guess what? There were the same doctors that Nolette's like leaning on. Those same doctors were like, just so you know, cigarettes are great for you. And then they were like, oh, shit, yeah, 50 years later, yeah, it killed your grandma.
Same with asbestos.
That's just how that shit goes. Yeah. So to me, it's like, yeah, they're telling you that because that's what safely sells microwaves. Like, let's acknowledge how the microwave was invented. The gentleman had a chocolate bar in his pocket, and he was getting warm, but his pocket, the chocolate melted. So at some point, it's like, it probably doesn't. It's not going to have a super effect, but maybe now, I need to do some introspective looking at myself because I'm just pressed up against the glass like mac and cheese. What's up?
Angela does not trust it.
Angela.
And
cheers.
I think it's great to be skeptical.
See, I appreciate
it's okay
that.
To be
I can have affection for that.
Yeah.
So all being said, wrapping thoughts are this. I like how Doug kind of presents it. This is an evolution, and it has its benefits and it has its downsides. David has alluded to it throughout the whole dialogue that this was an inevitable, and I don't think we stop it. I think it just is what it is. So the only thing we can do is hope that the people with the right intention are there to help steer it in the right direction. We're in a weird spot. That spot is right now we are literally experiencing the beginning of a whole new evolution of humanity. We've been playing with rocks and smashing sparks to make fire for thousands of years. And for the first time ever, we are becoming the cyborg. Does it end with that? No, I guarantee we're living in a Marvel universe where we download our consciousness into a computer. And is that us? Okay, philosopher. I love philosophy for this reason. We've been wrestling with this since the dawn of time. Is that still you? If it's a carbon copy of your consciousness made by code. Listen, I don't know that answer. Maybe only the creator does. But guess what I could tell you? And the only takeaway from this last segment is we sure as shit are going to find out. Yeah. We're going to find out. Nobody here has the answer. We can have a jolly good time trying to predict as much as we want. But no matter what, only time will tell, and time will certainly tell. This is going to unfold into a weird way. Doug raises great points, like Repo Man. Let's say you need this.
And the Creator show, too, by the way. The movie that just came out on Hulu, The Creator, suggested people watch that. It's about AI and society.
Interesting. So that being said, this could easily be a tool to solve your Parkinson's. At the same time, you're a mechanic and you aren't able to afford a $600,000 piece of equipment that was given to you through, through either insurance or payment plan that you no longer can fulfill. And so they just rip it out the back of your head. This inevitably creates the haves and the have-nots. There was an old Justin Timberlake movie, something about time, where like people were literally paid in time.
Yes. Oh my God. It's called like Time or something like that. But I think about that all the time. So, it's a society based on like
all the time. This is his Roman Empire.
No, like I so like you're talking about society and the way it is. I love the sci-fi stuff. So I watch
agree.
A lot of these movies, and that movie, it's funny you bring that up. I think about it a lot, honestly. Not necessarily that movie, but like the society getting to the point where you're paying for things with the time on your life. Like you need to buy a soda, it's a minute of your life. You know, you need to pay for a medical expense. It could be a year, 2 years of your life. And you can gain time on your life by doing something in the society. Like what you make for your job pays to your time in life.
Exactly.
And it's like, that is the scariest. Like I brought
but again, if you do an infraction against society, if you're doing something that society doesn't agree with or something like that, they'll just deduct time. They'll just get you that much closer to the end. And in many ways, it's a great, dialogue on our relationship with money and currency, but also life itself. Great movie. But the reason I bring it up is
reality.
At the same time, the reason you bring it up is you have people living a lifestyle or a situation where they're forced into situations of disparity, but even more so, they don't have the ability to find solidarity or there's no concrete comfort, safety in a world like this. So you get to have Neuralink, you get to not have Parkinson's insofar as I say you can, whether that's because you're keeping up on your payments or I like what you're saying and you're not having bad ideas that are against my subjective position. So all that being said, who knows where this goes, whether it's good or bad. I think my takeaway is remember this day. This is the end of January 2024. This is the end of the first month. And I do think we are about to experience end times, but we're not allowed to say that. So like with the border hemorrhaging, us going to world wars, and now we're all becoming cyborgs, like this is the end of it all. So grab your popcorn and enjoy the show because it's going to be nothing but entertainment. I don't know, David, wrapping thoughts.
Well, I think on your ending point here, we're in an evolution of time, space, and cultural significance here. I think the Neuralink thing still got some ways to go before it's a news story because the first person did it. How much time in between the first 10 people, the first 100 people?
Fair, yeah.
So might take a while. I think the border crisis is, well, that's not getting solved. It's
a bit more pressing.
Yeah, it's a SIF for a reason, and until enough. How many people in Congress? About 180 people in Congress decide this is a problem I want to solve.
How about the day instead of every free wetback that comes through the border, instead of them getting a free phone, everybody gets a free brain chip. Come on in. And they're like, yeah, I don't think I want to go anymore.
Ooh. Well, don't give Elon Musk too many different ideas.
As a test. Like, you want to come into
Oh, my God.
country?
All right. And we're muting Doug. Go ahead.
But no, I still think I'm still optimistic in the direction we're going. It's not looking good, but boy, we can right this ship. We can go our separate ways. I don't think it's going to be too big of an issue. The Neuralink, here's where I trust government. I think government's
my God,
we're going to shut this shit down. We have the ability to clone people. We're not. Why? A little bit illegal. No one really wants that.
As far as we know.
So we're gonna have a system here where we're probably gonna shut this down. It's only gonna be for the people with Parkinson's. It's only gonna be for the people who have major disabilities where this can significantly help their lives. But just like Adderall, it's gonna be regulated. Yeah, you might be able to get it on the black market, but it's not readily available.
Man, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I'm right as well.
Brian, wrapping thoughts.
Uh-oh. What do we got in here?
All right, Angela, you made me laugh on that one.
All right.
It was hashtag unmute Doug.
Hashtag
we want Doug.
I like these people.
So
Doug was about to say some cancelable folks.
Ricky said
we should use all the Mexicans as guinea pigs. Yeah, we're gonna mute that.
Sorry, Doug. This is too radical for the show.
Ricky answered the movie you're looking for is called In Time.
Yes,
and
In Time.
It had something to do with it.
Bama Boy said sounds like Terminator movie all over again. And speaking of Terminator movie,
yes, I'm gonna introduce it. Yeah. All right, can we wrap this episode
a good segue,
up?
Yeah.
This was a long one. Bama Boy. Perfect transition. This is an episode next week. I hope everybody joins us for. It is one to get excited about. The mother of the Matrix and the Terminator, the proclaimed writer of both stories, is going to be on our show. It is going to be solely an interview with Sophia Stewart. Thanks for watching this clip from the Rethink Tank Live. Join us every Tuesday at 7 p.m. streaming across the platforms on YouTube, Rumble, X, Twitch, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok. We do our best to promote user engagement, and we want you involved. So be sure to bring your perspective live so we can get you in the dialogue. See you then.